Hello, everyone. I hope that you had a safe and fun weekend. If you're like me, you need a weekend from your weekend, and that's okay though because I'm just going to jump right into next week again. I want to share with you some of the things that I thought about the content this week and just speak a little bit about some of the things that I learned as well. First, the Science of Persuasion video was very eye-opening to me because it really taught me a lot about some of the things that we use in order to persuade others. And some of those things were reciprocity, scarcity, authority, liking, and consensus. I have them all memorized now. I think that these are all things that I plan to implement in my speech, but I also think that they are things that I have very good practice with, especially when it comes to my husband. If you ever are trying to persuade your husband to clean the dishes or something after he puts them in the sink or doesn't put them in the dishwasher when you're a dishwasher, there's a lot of art to that, and I definitely learned that I use a lot of those. So I thought that was very interesting, though, how I can implement that in my speech as far as making myself relatable, being genuine in the compliments that I give, also providing information to people that it's something that will provoke them to want to create change in their lives, and then having a certain type of authority is very interesting as well. I don't think it's the authority as in you make people feel beneath you. I think it's the type of authority where you walk into a room and people really can see that there's something different about you. They see that you almost present yourself in a way that really makes them want to respect you. And I think a lot of that is how people are persuaded in speeches. Another thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was really interesting were the hidden psychological tools that are used in marketing. That is just crazy. I know whenever I was learning about nutrition for the first time, I learned how marketing would actually put the nutrition facts right where you like rip the food or the label. You like rip right through it, so you don't even read the nutrition facts. So I just think it's funny how there's a lot of sneaky things, from colors to the way things are organized, that make us more open to an idea or open to buying something, which I think, again, is something that a lot of very successful speakers, very successful salespeople, people who are trying to create change or become activists will use in their speeches. I'm someone who is really looking to become an activist at some point in my life. My family in North Carolina are very big activists as far as preventing gun violence and preventing violence due to things that have occurred in our lives. So I have taken a lot of lessons from them that I'm really hoping to use in the future, but I'm also learning things from this class that are helping me to become a better speaker and to eventually take my speaking to that next level and be more confident and be more comfortable when speaking to people or different audiences about the things that are very important to me. I know that, for instance, the topic that my family is very strong activists for, people can disagree with, but yet my father is an amazing speaker and is just so intellectual and has a way of persuading and moving an audience. Now, he might not make you want to get up and do whatever he's saying right away, but I think he has a way to make you just really think about it And that's something that I plan to do and plan to enhance my speaking in that way. Lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about the video that we watched by Daniel Pink about persuading others by the questions that we ask. I'm actually very familiar with the technique that he uses, which is motivational interviewing. I actually am in my master's right now for nutrition and human performance, and motivational interviewing is a technique that we use in order to have better communication with our clients, and by having that better communication, we're able to make more individualized plans for them to grow. We're able to actually, in a way, connect more with them and understand why it is that they're doing what they're doing. So as far as using that towards persuading others, I think this is very, very important. And the reason I think that it's so important is because whenever you are speaking about anything, there is a large chance that there may be someone in the room that disagrees with you. And I think sometimes we have the ability to only want to listen to the side that we understand, the side that is familiar to us. It all goes back to that science of persuasion. We tend to relate to people who are very similar to us. But I think by using techniques such as motivational interviewing, it opens up that dialogue, and it helps us to understand why people who are different than us are doing things different than us. We don't just have to assume. So for instance, going back to nutrition, we will sit down with people who may have eating disorders such as binge eating, for instance, where they have the tendency to continue eating. They do not purge, but they will emotionally eat, and they will have behavior that puts them in a predicament where they have very excessive amount of weight gain, and it's very detrimental to their health. So we'll sit down and we don't ask yes or no questions. It's not, well, are you eating a lot? Yes, because that completely shuts the whole communication down. So we'll sit down and we'll have actually a certain conversation pattern, which in a way persuades them to answer questions that we have for them. So for instance, we'll be like, well, you're in this situation where you're driving to get fast food every day, and you are in this predicament. Do you actually know how to like food prep? Have you ever food prep before? What type of things are you eating? And that way you're kind of almost walking them through a change in their life and showing them that they can do it. And I think that's a really big part of persuading people to do things, is because so many people automatically can really shut down your ideas because they don't think it's possible. But I believe by actually helping someone visualize that in their life and showing them how it fits into their life is a very important part of persuading people. So, for instance, if someone's like, oh yeah, go buy a hybrid car, and you're like, what would I need a hybrid car for? Well, what if they were like, well, you have a hybrid car, and not only is it looks better for a global footprint, but imagine how much gas you'll save. Imagine you are driving down the road and you don't have to stop for gas for like 3 days. How awesome is that? So I think that's really a big art of persuasion, and it really is just something that I'm very intrigued by. It's something that I am hoping to learn more about and to really dig deeper into over time, because I really do think that it's something that public speaking is really benefited by. It's a huge component of it all in every type of speech that you give, and being aware of your audience and who you're talking to. And I'm really learning a lot about how to not only enhance my public speaking, but use a lot of these things in my everyday life as well. And I think it's really important in helping to grow myself in grow myself and be a successful speaker in the long run. And I'm very glad that I got to share all that with you. And I look forward to seeing all of you in class on Monday. Thank you.